just take Imperial straight down.
But
Alright.
now, the 91's not that
Good
far.
morning. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to talk about this, and this isn't only for you, Sarah, but I'm saying this to you because of the conversation we had yesterday briefly, and I want everyone to understand a couple of things about this. This didn't actually happen, but it was something I saw a real big concern with you, and I want you to show you how it really affects you, not
Okay.
nearly to the level you think it affects you.
Okay.
You're willing to give up a job for $8 of your pay. If you're willing to do that, that drives me absolutely bonkers, bananas, crazy. I just want to pull my hair out.
Right.
And I'm telling you, $8 is not a lot of money for any one of you guys when it comes to something like, for an example, if you were doing an estimate on a $1,000 job,
Right.
okay, and you put it on your follow-up like we talked about on the schedule, but for some reason the customer doesn't call you back this week. So we finally close the job out because we're assuming that they're not answering us, they're not responding. You made your phone calls, they're not responding to you, for an example. Okay? I'm not saying that happened, but I'm giving you the example. So now, if Dennis or one of the other CSRs calls up a client and says, "Hey, I noticed you had an estimate last week, and we either couldn't get a hold of you, or maybe you're on the fence still, or is there something what can we do to earn your business?" Whatever they say, their whole spiel. Now the customer says, "Yeah, you know what? Let's just say, for an example, they want to do it now." Okay, so it's not because you didn't try, or you didn't do your part, but for whatever reason, they've been closed out. Now it goes into the next level of these guys trying to follow up on leads. Okay? On a $1,000 call, they're going to get 2.5%, right? Which is $25. So they're going to get a $25 spiff on a $1,000 call. That's going to affect your pay $8.
Yeah, I didn't know what the percentage was.
That's all it is.
The last time
And it's
that
off the top.
happened,
It's
we
off
were
the top.
talking like 10 grand. The last time that happened.
No. Well, 10 grand would be 250
And I was
bucks.
like, dang.
10 grand would be $250
Yeah.
off the top, but by the time you pay it, you're paying a third. If you got paid
Right.
32%, you're
I
basically
know,
getting
but
a third
all
of that.
these calls are calls that are like.
So you would have lost $80 on a $10,000 job.
Right. Well, that's why we
But-
ended up not carrying.
So what I'm saying, because
It's
that's what
the
I'm showing you.
principle.
So
Is
look,
I just feel like my money's just going all over the place.
but you know what?
nowadays.
We're doing the most that we can to get you guys jobs right now.
Like even with the helpers and stuff, it's like, oh, if they're training, I need you to pay for half of their wages and things like that.
Okay.
And
Well,
I'm willing
yeah.
to pay for helpers and when I need them, but
We're not
I
gonna
just
we're
feel
not
like
gonna
my
grow any
money's
other way.
going all
We
over
have to
the
do
place.
this as a team. We have to understand that team in there is doing something too, and these guys are making
Right.
peanuts. I mean, compared to all of you guys that have a chance of making a lot because you're on commission, so I'm giving them an incentive to say, hey, you guys have a chance to make more money too.
Right.
You're part of our team, and if you can, by the way, get something that's right now currently not on anybody's real radar because we're busy and they're doing other
Right.
stuff, and now we pull it back out. Now it's something we can do. For them to make $25, that's like, and that's a needle in a haystack. Trust me.
Right.
They're calling 50 people and maybe getting one if they're
Right.
lucky.
Right.
So they just made $25 for the week extra, and you look at 40 hours, that's less than $1 an hour raise. They're not making a ton of money, guys.
Right.
Okay? So now instead of making $15 an hour, they might be making $16 an hour for the
Right.
week.
Right.
Big deal. But
This
they helped
just makes me
us, and
feeling
they helped you
money's
make
all over.
they helped you make, for an
It's like
example.
all of a sudden I have a job, but here's $100 gonna get taken out of that.
That's
because
not how it
that's
works, though.
called and-
You guys got to stop that because, it makes me feel like, well, what can I do then? Let me just stop working, and let me just tell the guys, oh, don't worry about the calls. Just let it go. Let it go. We don't need it. And then you don't get the call, and you make nothing, and you're crying about $8 when it could be, you could be making 200 and. Okay, so
But
look.
see, like on a call on that, I know I was gonna get that call.
Okay,
Like
but
those
you're
two-
going to get every call,
yeah.
but then you don't get the call, and then we follow up on it, and we get the call.
Calls that I don't get.
Well, I mean, but if we get the call back after you think you're not going to get the call,
Yeah.
it seems like, because the only couple of calls we've had that happens on is if all of a sudden we call, and this one she called us, so it was fine.
Right.
But if we call, because I can look at inbound, outbound, who's doing what, and who made what call, and who asked the questions, or whatever. But if we make an outbound call, and we're following up on an estimate, and it happens to get, all of a sudden they change their mind, for whatever reason. Maybe they said no originally. you know, they deserve, because they're making those 100 calls
I
or 50
agree
calls,
with
they deserve to get
Calls
something.
like that, 100%, 100%. They're actually pushing like the issue, like this was a no.
Right?
And it was like, hey, I'm calling back because I just wanna figure out if there's any way I can turn that into a yes.
Yes.
100%, I'll give them 3%, no problem, 2.5.
2.5.
But on
So,
certain calls,
so
I'm
just
feeling
take it in
like
mind,
this
that's
is
coming
getting
off the
weird.
top.
Right.
So you're only losing, on 25 bucks, you're
I don't
losing
even
8.
care, right.
You're losing
Right.
$8.
But it's just on certain calls, I'm feeling like, oh man.
Now, if it's a
people are-
$10,000 job, okay, now instead of 1,000, so now you're gonna lose $80.
Yeah.
I mean, $80 out of a $10,000 job, you're gonna make quite a bit of money on that, depending on how many parts is the biggest killer on all of our jobs.
Oh, yeah.
But
Trust
You know.
me, we know.
we know
Right.
too. We know too, 'cause that's the biggest part on us. That's our
Right,
biggest
on
expense too,
everybody.
especially HVAC. When
I
we,
guess my
Oh,
thing
yeah.
is, I don't have a problem paying
Yeah.
for cuts for when it's earned and deserved, no problem, 100%. But if somebody's just answering a phone call
Okay.
and that
No,
call
not
just turned out to be
not
great,
answering.
you know
Not
what I mean?
answering.
And it was like,
It's
hey,
not gonna
actually, I
be-
do wanna
it's not
do
gonna be
that.
that, so
And
you guys have to
then Dennis
understand
that
it.
answers, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I will send
I
somebody over.
just want you to
grab it
understand
today,
it,
and
because
then,
if you don't understand it, you think it's
email me,
because someone answered
and
the
then I'll
phone.
have
That's not
somebody from my
why.
office
Right.
pay for
I'm not
it
paying them,
first.
just, they're already getting paid to
And
answer
it
the
will-
phone.
Yeah,
once
if
you
they
guys
actually
release
But
it,
if they're making the
Yeah,
call
yeah.
outbound, and they make the call outbound, and they deal with it, and they get the
it's,
customer to say,
Kevin
yes,
Kalka at gmail.com.
great, I'm
Right.
gonna pay them.
Right.
Because to me, that's, I need, especially like the last week and week and a half, I mean, how slow it's been.
Yeah.
It's like, we need as much as we can get.
Yeah,
I'm giving them,
they're pulling
I'm
it
gonna give them an
where it
incentive
works.
right now they're going back into our database,
Uh-huh.
back in 2016, 17, and 18, and they're calling people who didn't get the water heater flushes, blah, 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 blah.
Hours.
So I'm gonna give them a little spiff for everyone they actually book that wasn't on there, which has nothing to do with you guys, but,
That's fine.
so when you guys go out there, now you have an opportunity to do your thing and sell, right? But I just want you to understand, it's $8
Right.
on a
No,
$1,000
that's
call, because
fine.
yesterday you're like, well, was Dennis involved in that? No, I may have to give that call to somebody else. I'm like, oh my God.
You know I was
That's
gonna
what the
take the call
Apollo
anyways, I
bill
was
said.
just like
But,
overwhelmed
but,
because I
but,
was
but
like,
it's,
wait,
you know
how
what,
much
it
is this
stresses
gonna
me out
cost
because
me?
now I'm
Yeah.
thinking, it stresses me out, it's like, okay,
Wow.
now I can't put Sarah on this call, and she's asking for
You know
Sarah,
I'm
she
gonna
wants
go,
Sarah.
But I was like
and-
overwhelmed because
Yeah.
I was like, when you told me
Okay.
that, I was like, wait a second, how
Yeah.
much is this
Okay.
gonna cost?
Yeah, I figured as
now?
much.
Yeah.
Is what told
$8.
Right, well, it's not a big deal.
Okay, so I just want you to
But it's not
know,
gonna cost me $8, this time,
No.
because she actually.
Okay,
she called.
Right, and that's what I want clarified,
Yeah.
it's like,
I bet.
it just because they had.
I will always check, I'm not gonna pay them just because they, you know, I'm gonna look, and I listen to the calls.
Right,
So, you have no worries, I'm not gonna take anything away that doesn't, you know, need to be taken away based on what we've talked about.
right,
So, only if they do that, and I just wanted you to show you the math so you see that it's $8. I mean, it's
That's
really,
not a
it's
huge
not a big
difference.
deal. But it's a way for me to incentivize them, just like you guys get incentivized to
Right.
sell and to control your jobs and do all of that, right? So, I just want you to understand that part of it. So, that was the first thing, and that's why I even did this. I don't even know why that happened, but,
yeah, I don't mind the 2.5% when it's something like that, you know, it's
Yeah.
fair, that's fair,
okay.
but.
I I just wanted to clarify it, and I wanted to show it on paper, because when you see it in writing, and you're like, oh, okay, that's not that bad.
Right.
It's not like I'm taking a huge chunk of money out of you or anything else.
But see, that customer, I knew that one was already going through, and then she called, and that's why I was like, wait, just because Dennis answered.
Right, no,
please
just
make
because
sure
Dennis
that you're
answered
not
doesn't
gonna-
mean
right,
jack.
that
He's
you're
just
not
doing his job for
Right.
answering the phone, that's what he's getting paid for.
Right.
But if Dennis were to call out on that call, that you've already been closed out, and because she decided she wasn't sure she wanted to do it, whatever the case is, and now
Right.
she wants to do it, or she's willing to do it, and schedule it, then that's when they get paid, okay?
That's an outbound,
Right,
right.
it's gotta be an outbound call,
So, and if we know it's going through, we just don't know when, we keep it open,
right.
which you already.
I mean,
mentioned.
not forever. I
Right,
mean,
but a
I'm,
couple
you know,
days.
a couple days, 2-3 days, I'm okay with it, because you're gonna follow up. After that, it kinda becomes somewhat of a dead lead at that point, unless we know
Right,
for a
then at that
fact,
point-
hey, I'm gonna be out of town this week, that's a different story, I can let you go to next week, no big deal. All right, so, I wanna also talk about, truck stock a little bit, because what I understand there's certain things you guys need on your trucks. Now, the goal is, before you go to a job, especially if it's a big job, and you need, let's say, refrigerant. Okay, so yeah, I know I'm not putting refrigerant in everyone's truck at this point, and I'll be straight up with you and straight, from the top here. We don't have a lot of money to be stocking all the trucks with all the stuff I know we really want to have on the trucks right now. We're trying to get there, and it's after this summer gets a little bit busier, we'll be able to do that, I believe. Okay, but right now, if you're going to a job and you know you're going to need something, then absolutely, when you go to your parts store, pick that up too. Pick up refrigerant, pick up whatever you need. It's your guys' job to know what you have on your truck and what you don't have on your truck and what you're gonna need as far as parts are concerned when you get to a job. I don't want you going to a job and go, oh, well, we're not allowed to carry refrigerant, and I didn't order any this morning, so now it's another trip. I mean, that's a waste of time and energy on all of our parts, right? Yes.
With refrigerant, that's an oddball, that's a gray area, because generally speaking, on even for instance, a one system or two system job, refrigerant has 20 pounds of refrigerant in it,
Mm-hmm.
and we might use 4.
Okay.
So now we've, to a large degree, charged a job for 20 pounds that only used 4. And now things get really gray area, especially on the larger jobs where we have 7 or 8 people there, and we don't know what's on what truck, and we don't even know whether the nitrogen's on all the trucks, and so we're
I
trying
hear what
our
you're
best
saying.
to keep everything together.
I hear what you're saying, but
Yeah.
that's just to me is a bullshit answer, because I'm not asking you to know what everybody else has in their truck.
Mhm.
You know what you have on your truck. It's your job, your responsibility to know what you have.
Mhm.
And if you don't have enough to fill up a system, you don't have 20 pounds, then you go order 20 pounds when you pick up your parts and you have 20 pounds. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's your job. You're on your job. Make sure you have your parts. Or if you want to be a little bit ahead of the game and say, you know what, let's see if Mike has any of his truck. He's coming with me. Mike, what do you have on your truck before I order my refrigerant? I'm okay with that. But what I don't want to have happen is everyone has 4 bottles on their truck, or we get to the other, the R22, and we have which $800 a bottle, and I'm not going to have one on everyone's freaking truck.
Oh, heck no.
I'm just not. I'm gonna have it, and if we need it, and we know we're going to something like that, then that's a different story. When I get to a point where we can afford to do that, different story again. But right now, I'm just saying.
When we get busier, we're gonna need those kind of things.
Yeah, and as we get busier, we're gonna have the money to do it.
Money.
As we get busier, we'll have the money to do
Yeah.
it. Right now,
Because
it's tight, and we're trying to keep all the stuff going that we've got going, and I can't just stock all the trucks with all the capacity. Yesterday I get a phone call from Menards. He goes, well, I need to get these capacitors. I go, are you using any today? He goes, well, I used one already today. And I go, well, are you going to use another? And he goes, oh, I don't know. And I go, well, how many capacitors do you have? He goes, well, there's like 90 different kinds, and I need to have at least 2 or 3 of each one. I go, I'm not going to buy, and how much are they? $20 a pop.
Right.
I'm not going to put $5,000 worth of capacitors on your truck for something you might possibly need today. Now, if you know you go into something different story, or if it's a real common one that you use all the time, I get it. Put a couple of them in there.
Yeah, turbo 260
There
bucks.
you go.
Something that'll
Covers
So-
help us.
all of that.
So, something like that, I'm fine with. Put 2 of those on there. Put, so that you can get through the day. I'm good with that. But I'm not going to put, the way he wants it is I got to have all of these possibilities. And no, I'm not going to put $3,000 worth of parts on your truck just because you might possibly need it today.
And by the way, that money, what we're trying to do is minimize the truck stock so that we can take the money that would have gone into truck stock, because that's endless. You could just keep putting shit on your truck. It never
Oh,
ends.
yeah.
You always need more.
We're trying to take that money and we're trying to put it into marketing.
We can get busy.
Guys,
So we
we
can get
spend
busy.
so much on marketing right now.
So
It's
that-
incredibly crazy.
So that this doesn't, and then the material becomes not an issue. But if you put the material before the marketing, then you're never gonna get out of that hole. You
Exactly.
just won't.
Mhm.
So.
And the
a little bit of
marketing has been
patience, a little
upfront.
bit of cooperation.
Right.
Um,
We'll get back to having some more truck stock. That's definitely the goal. Right now, like Kevin said, I've been talking about marketing forever. We put in like 25 grand, which we didn't really have. So we're just trying to pull from every little area we can to get to that marketing dollar. Just to build our website was $12,000. And then all the marketing stuff to get it all ready for them to market. So like currently right now, we're doing other things because we can't afford to put any more money in marketing right now. We have to wait until we build up here a little bit, and then we can get back into marketing, which then we'll have money for parts. That's how it's gonna, it's just natural cycle. If you run a business, you ever run a business and you see how all the money goes and where it comes and goes to, it's not easy, guys. So we're balancing it the best we can, and I'm just letting you guys know that's why it's there. But if you need something for a job, it's your guys' responsibility to know what you need. And if you got to ask someone who's going with you, hey, do you have any R22 on your truck or whatever the case it is? No, I don't. Do we have it in the shop? No, I don't. Before you go and leave to the job. If we don't have it, then I expect you to get it so that you're not making back and forth trips to stuff, because that doesn't save you time and money, nor does it help us. Because we want you guys in that job, get out of that job, be done with it. Let's move on to the next one. That's our goal. And that should be your goal too, because you make the most money that way, right? So I just want to make sure I clarify that whole process. I understand we don't have all the stuff you guys want, but if you know you need it, It's your job, be responsible, make your list, make sure you check it twice, all that good stuff, and order your stuff, okay? So those are the two main things, and then, like I said, I'm working on, because Kevin had come up with an idea we've been working on, and we're trying to keep the plumbing side a lot busier, and that's what we're gonna do an incentive thing that I'm gonna talk to Kevin about later, just to make sure he's good with it, but I believe it's gonna help these guys have more of an incentive to not stop calling when there's dead time. I want them to be calling customers, and at least getting us out there, because it's our job to sell once we get out there. It's their job just to get it booked. So that's what my goal is for that. We're gonna keep pushing that, because plumbing right now is gonna be the one that we're gonna focus on. And because HVAC is already, we have enough jobs to keep us busy for a little while right now anyway. And as it gets hotter, it's just gonna continue on, I believe, so, that should help us all. Okay?
My
Yeah.
question with them doing outbounds. I've bumped across it a couple of times where they're waiving service fees out of the gate.
They're not waiving it out of the gate. If you wanna listen to a call, you listen to a call, because I listen to almost all of them.
They used to a lot, that's
Okay, so
where he's coming from.
if they, right now, they're just trying to get calls. That's been their biggest focus, is just trying to get the calls. We're trying to let us get out there. That's our goal. So it depends. They're waiving them on, the direction they've been given is, if they have any kind of slab leak or any kind of flood, anything like that, they don't even mention it. They just want us to get out there as quickly as we can. All right? Just leaking through the ceiling, doesn't matter if it's HVAC, or they're gonna ask the question to determine what it is, so we can send the right people out, but they're not gonna even ask about a fee on that or mention it. Other than that, everything's still standard, 59, 89, 149 on the weekends and after hours. So that's still the plan. Unless a customer balks at it. So if a customer balks at it, oh, I don't wanna pay that, well, let me talk to my manager and we may waive it. Okay, and then they'll put it in there that they're waiving it. But usually when that happens, it's because I've been involved or Tina's been involved if I'm doing something else. Okay? So that's the process, that's how it should work. If you guys hear of anything else, let me know and I'll listen to the call if I missed it, but that's the goal. We want you guys to get good calls when you get out there. We want them to have a reason to pay you and for you to do the work. Trust me. Okay?
Yeah, I did that last night, by the way. Guy called in, slab leak, never mentioned how much, never. I didn't even talk about it. And got booked him for this morning. But that's why we're, just add it to the job, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those kind of jobs are money jobs anyway.
Yeah.
They want to fix now. They're not going to be shopping with plumbers. If you can get out there fast and you can take care of the customer, that's all they care about. So, all right, you have anything, Kevin, you want to bring up? I know it's a busy day today.
Yeah, so one thing that's kind of, pet peeve of mine is that, if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, it's messed up. And I don't even want to talk about it, but, this class starts at 7:30. And our time's important. We want to get going. We want to make these brief. But, people are just strolling. They're out there getting coffee and the class is running. It's like, what the hell's going on here? You guys got to place some value on this here. Especially, when I see new people walking in late. I'm like, okay, that's a red flag to me. Because you're already comfortable, and you shouldn't be with that. You should never be with that. So, we really need to focus in on, being on time, getting things done, and hustling, because I'm out there hustling, I'm getting you guys work. I got a plumbing call I can't even put on the schedule right now.
I was just gonna say, who's on?
Well, I got you on the slab leak.
Yeah, I'll
But-
go somehow.
But no, and I was, to that point, I was up this morning trying to figure out how am I gonna get this covered, and there's a call that's on the board, that's not on the board, that I was at last night, yesterday, around 4 with Jason here. And that's Vanguard, he needs garbage disposal and a couple pressure relief valves that have blown off on the hydronic system. So, we got, and they got a shit ton of work there for us. It's crazy. And now that HVAC is coming in and all that, we really gotta I know we were kind of sleepy there for a while because, you know, there's nothing going on. And we get really comfortable in that sleepy place. Well, let's not be sleepy anymore because the phones are starting to ring again. And you know, we got a lot going on, and it's important that we get in here in the morning and on time. So.
And, well, and the goal is, just so you know, the guy Mike that you and I interviewed, he's hoping to come in like tomorrow to fill out paperwork and everything, and so he can start on Monday.
Okay.
Get all the truck transfer stuff, all his tools and everything on this weekend, so that he can have a start on Monday.
And by the way, it gets hot on Monday. Guess what? Yeah, this weekend and it starts.
This weekend's gonna be hot, yeah.
And so
Summer started?
already we're backed up with
June?
we're backed up with installs, and yeah, it's getting hot, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah.
I'm sorry, I was late for my car tire was flat. I need to stop to gas.
Yeah, I know, we gotta fix that.
We're fixing it today.
That wasn't meant just to you, but I'm just saying,
No,
it's, you know, we,
All you guys gotta do is text me. Mike texted me, said I'll be 10 minutes late. I mean, I understand that happens occasionally.
Yes,
We don't
sir.
want it to happen every day.
Yes.
That's the deal, because it happens on a regular basis.
Yes.
So I understand where he's coming from. The last thing I wanna do before we leave is just ask a couple of quick questions, and this is for the plumbing side, but anybody can chime in. We're doing some Facebook advertising right now. We got our Facebook up and running. We're gonna be doing some little quick coupons for plumbing. So anybody has any ideas that worked really well or have worked really well that we wanna do this time of year to keep you guys busy, let me know.
yeah, I know that one that, we used to run on Angie's List. If you look at the ones that we used to run, and I don't know if we have that data really available to us anymore.
Yeah, I don't know about Angie's List.
Huh?
I don't know much about Angie's List. I know we
So,
used to be
but
there, but I don't know what it is.
We had a, back in the day when we were using them, we were spending quite a bit with them, somewhere around 30,000-40,000 a year. And we would run a special where, you know, it was, you know, $75 for $200 worth of labor. And for whatever reason, the psychology of that, I could give somebody a $125 coupon, they think nothing of it. But they had to purchase that service. So people would actually,
$75,
Huh?
yeah, they paid the $75.
they would pay us the $75 and not even have anything to do. They were just buying a coupon, like literally giving us money so they can hang on to that coupon. It was crazy, but that's how it worked. So that was, we hit that one out of the park. That one,
Okay.
yeah, it was,
That's good.
it was crazy.
right.
So, yeah, I like that one, but I don't know if any of you guys remember
Anything else?
anything else.
I mean, I know what kind of calls you like, but is there anything in particular? You know, I was also thinking $50 off of any services over $500, just like a 10% type of thing. But I mean, I'm just thinking of things that I've done in the past.
Yeah,
Sometimes they work, sometimes they
That
don't.
doesn't get any attraction really. It's, you can offer a low price on a drain cleaning,
Yeah,
probably.
clean out, clean
You know,
Like $80 or something.
yeah, you could do, you know, second drain cleaning free, you know, something like that, because they may have more than one, you know.
Okay.
Typically people do. The other one that used to work on the HVAC side is when we offered a tune-up and 1 pound of refrigerant free. So what happened was is you think about, oh shit, you know, $800 a jug or whatever we're paying for that stupid stuff, right? But here's what happened is people would call us knowing that they have to add refrigerant
Yeah.
every week, and we wound up replacing the damn system,
Right.
you know? And
If they already know they need refrigerant, then
Yeah,
the odds are
it-
there's a bigger problem.
So, yeah, so these were the kinds of things we were finding out with Angie's List. And what was cool about Angie's List was Angie's List had a nationwide platform, and they knew what was working and what wasn't.
Right.
And they were suggesting to us, hey, try this. This is killing it over there in Idaho. You know? Yeah. And so that's kind of what we started doing.
Well, some of the things that I've been noticing on, like, I'm not sure if you guys get them, but one of the things I'm getting is little coupon books, you know, they send in the mail.
Mhm.
You get a lot, and you have like 4 plumbers in there, a couple HVAC people. And one of the ones that I saw for HVAC that was interesting to me was free duct cleaning with a new system. So you're
Yeah.
putting a new system in, and we're probably gonna do that anyway, I would hope. I mean, if you're gonna put a new system in, because you want it to run well and everything else, but that kind of, I was like, oh, that was
It's all
kind of cool.
labor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So that was one for HVAC that I
Yeah.
thought,
Yeah. That's good.
okay. So I've been looking at those just to see what everybody else is doing. I mean, I see the $79 drains and
Yeah,
just,
everybody's
yeah.
in the cheap drain cleaning.
Yeah, I mean,
and
yeah, if you,
To get in and pop
yeah, if you
it.
approach it something like that, you know, second drain free or second drain half price, you know, or the FOMO, not the FOMO, what's it called? For, FOMO's fear of missing out. The other one is buy
BOGO?
one, get one free, BOGO.
BOGO, yeah.
Yeah.
Buy one, get one, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are into that shit. I mean, it's human psychology. It's really weird what triggers reaction to people. Like, you can't imagine people paying for a coupon, but they did it all day long.
Yeah.
Well, Groupon is, I mean, Groupon's pretty much does the same type of thing. I mean.
Well, yeah, that's where we did
Yeah.
it with Groupon too. Yeah, we did them with Groupon
Yeah,
too.
did a couple of
But
those
the
this
problem
year.
was Groupon attracted the wrong people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
They only want
it was
discount
like
period.
it was like advertising on Craigslist, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a diamond in the rough if it's someone that you actually wanna go to there.
Yeah, and it usually kind of was, you know, bad news because they were like, "You guys are ripping us off," and you know, just like,
Yeah.
oh, these people could barely afford rent, you know.
Those are the people you fire as customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you need? What's that other one?
May I talk over there? I wanna explain something to you.
On?
May I stand over there and then?
Sure, go for it.
Would you?
You got the
shut this
floor.
one off?
It's on. It's on.
Off.
Oh, it's off. You don't want the camera on.
Yes.